Hey, Eastview family, happy Tuesday to you. I hope that this week has started out well for you. We are looking at John 14, and this is week 5 of our Love My Community study. It is all about we are people who follow Jesus, as in He is the way, the truth, and the life. We'll get into that in another Devo. But today I really want to focus in on the first couple of verses because there's a lot of questions theologically about heaven. And I won't have the time to explain all of that today, nor maybe do I have all those answers. That's part of my own study journey. But there is something very particular to be mindful of in this. It's in the very beginning of John 14. And this is what Jesus says to his followers, so his disciples, and to you and I. Let not your hearts be troubled. Believe in God. Believe also in me. In my Father's house are many rooms. If it were not so, would I have told you that I go and prepare a place for you? And if I go and prepare a place, I will come again and will take you to myself, that where I am, you may be also. And you know the way to where I am going. We can get a glimpse of heaven here in some different ways. And if you, depending on kind of how you read this, you might think of a mansion, you might think of like a extravagant apartment complex, but Jesus is talking about something even more in depth and more rich than a place. He's talking about a presence, as in himself. He starts out by saying, hey, do not let your heart be troubled. He had just said that he's going to leave and he's going to go, and he's assuring his disciples to believe in him, to trust him, that he has a plan. Believe in me is what he is saying. Look, if you trust and believe in me that I have a plan, it's going to make a little bit more sense. And this idea of he's going and preparing a place might mean like a particular place, but it really actually, the language is all about a reunion. It's all about joy in the presence. In fact, it's talking about being face to face again with Jesus. And there's so much here that is rich. And it's about this idea of fellowship and being one with Jesus, a face to face with him. It's like what joy can really be about. Jumping ahead, John 15 is all about abiding, and that there's a presence that we can experience. And Jesus is talking about all of this stuff like, hey, I know you might be fearful right now, but if you believe in me, trust and know that I have a plan for us to be reunited in person and in spirit. And so in that way, we can catch a glimpse of heaven. It reminds me a little bit, my family, we've been reading through the book of Narnia, and we are in the Voyage of the Dawn Treader. It's pretty beat up here, but there's this scene where Lucy was asked to go into this weird house, and had a big book that had some incantations and chants, and these invisible people were trying to become visible. Well, Lucy read a story that brought her great joy, and it says it this way. Lucy said, "That is the loveliest story I've ever read or ever shall read in my whole life. Oh, I wish I could have gone on reading it for 10 years. And then it goes on to say that she was not able to read it again. And a little bit later, she met up with Aslan, and she asked Aslan, will I ever get to read that story? Or could you read that story to me? And remembering that Aslan represents Jesus in this story, Aslan says, indeed, yes, I will tell it to you for years and years, but not now. Come, we must go and do the work ahead of us. That's a quick picture of heaven, of like a fellowship for years and years. And we can catch a glimpse of that fellowship, that joy, that face-to-face here in John 14. And so for us today, what does that mean? We get to live in this world, right? We're not to heaven yet, or we're not necessarily fully in the presence of the Lord, but we get glimpses of heaven each and every day. And so my encouragement for you is to pause, to pray, and to ask the Holy Spirit to help you see these glimpses of heaven today, and then share that with the people around you. Guys, thanks so much. I hope you have a great Tuesday.